Welcome to Combos from the Couch by LifeStance Health, where leading mental health professionals help guide you on your journey to a healthier, more fulfilling life. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Combos from the Couch. I'm Nicolette Lianza, and joining me today is therapist Anastasia Titova, and we'll be talking about boosting creativity with expressive arts therapy. So, welcome, Anastasia. Great to have you on.
Oh, hi. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me today and giving me the opportunity to talk about my passion, my favorite topic, expressive arts, and how that can help us, how it works in mental health therapy, right? And also how we can use some experiences in our day-to-day life. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Looking forward to this conversation for sure. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and what led you to become a therapist.
Yeah, totally. So I'm a licensed professional clinical counselor in California. I'm practicing in Los Angeles and Beverly Hills with Lifestance Health. Regionally, like if you can hear my accent, I'm from Russia. Came to United States 15 years ago, like around 2010. And I was trained as a medical doctor, as a psychiatrist in Russia. And I received very like classical psychiatric education and psychotherapy education, basically mostly on cognitive behavioral therapy. I became actually interested in like how the human mind works. For me, it was more like an investigation, like a Sherlock Holmes kind of idea of the mind. And I was very intrigued by that since my teenage years when I was reading reading all these books about Sherlock Holmes and how his mind work. I'm like, interesting. So yeah, I went to medical school to become a psychiatrist. I knew exactly what I want to do. And when I came to United States, I found this program, master's degree program in mental health counseling and expressive art therapies. So that felt very interesting and fascinating because I was wondering what fuels our imagination, what makes us to create, how people, I had a few friends who were musicians and my like idea was like how they create the music from nothing. I cannot do this. I hear a sound, I cannot make a song out of that, and they can. So what is it about? And in my program, I learned not just about the creative process as well itself, but also how creativity helps us to heal and transform. And like this marriage of mental health practices and creativity really worked out for me. And yeah, nowadays I'm working as an individual therapist and I combine a lot of different modalities. Like I use mindfulness and somatic practices, some classical trained therapies like cognitive behavioral, dialectical behavioral. And of course, I engage like with expressive arts therapist. And 2 years ago, I started my PhD program at European Graduate School to deepen my understanding. It's a PhD in expressive art therapies. Yeah, that's my
Great. Oh
real
my
path.
gosh.
Thank
Ooh,
you.
you definitely sound like you're very busy too.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
So, what exactly is expressive arts therapy and how is it different from like regular talk therapy?
Yeah, totally. I like to think about these two approaches, and I'm assuming that people more familiar with talk therapy, with analysis, analyzing thoughts, restructuring thoughts. I think about this in this sense. The talk therapy lets us to tell the story. And expressive art therapy gives us an opportunity to experience the story and move and create the story.
Oh, that's good.
So
Yeah.
that practice can be very transformative.
Hmm.
And like to be a little bit boring and talk a little bit like what like the theory of expressive arts therapy is. It's I believe expressive art therapies became like a therapy practice in 1970s. It started in Massachusetts at Lesley University and a bunch of it's interesting that a lot of people they being mental health professionals or a lot of artists joined this program or philosophers joined this first program because we know that expressive art therapist actually combines not just the mental health education, but different philosophies, a lot of the Eastern philosophy practices, a lot of the cultural influences. We know that humanity has been using art, different art forms in their rituals and their healing practices. We can think about shaman work or like dancing or a drum circle, right? So it has been there for many years already. We just like trying to find a place in mental health and the place in the evidence base, like why that works. Expressive art therapy is a modality that focuses not on non-verbal expression, but more on different forms of arts. It's maybe visual arts, dance, music, writing, drama, not drama, but like theater, improvisation. And for me, like the main thing in expressive art, like there are two things. One is to just re-engage with our inner selves, to feel this freedom of being who I am and just reconnect with inner child, right? Because like in our life, we may become too consumed with what's going on right now and here, and it's too much. And the second thing in expressive art is the surprise that can get out of the art making process. And this surprise can lead us to the new perspectives of how we see the problem we bring to the therapy session. There is this thing like a myth in art therapy or expressive art therapy. A lot of clients who came to me, they said, so I'm going to draw a picture and you will tell me what's wrong with me. So it doesn't work like that. In expressive art therapies, the major process happens during the art making. So the one of the theory lands in expressive art therapy lies on poiesis or art of making, like creating something.
Gotcha.
And this is a very intuitive, natural body process. Then our body just knows how to do things. Again, imagine a child who starts walking. We're not giving the child instructions how to walk. It just
Right.
happens very naturally. So we,
Right.
in this therapy process, we're trying to find this natural, intuitive ways of just doing things. And because of that, you don't need to be a skillful artist or musician. You can be when I started my program in expressive arts, I'm very bad with art. Like I never did good in my drawing classes in childhood. I'm left-handed. No one can, and I'm former doctor. No one can read my handwriting, even me. This like idea of being very low skills but with high sensitivity, with no judgment, we're not trying to interpret or analyze. I also like that expressive art therapy practices a very collaborative process. It's the therapy approach is person-centered. Like the client is an expert of their own experiences. The client becomes an artist, and the therapist in this space becomes like a guide, a facilitator that help client to identify the problem, go through this literal problem, literal idea to the center to this imaginative space and have these surprises happen in the process. And then after that, we call it harvesting. We're gaining the insight, what emerged during the process, what feelings emerged during the process, and how it may help back to literal reality, how it can help with the problem that people brought to the therapy. So yeah, that's the basic idea. I hope I answered the question.
Yeah, I think you did a great job giving us a clearer perspective on this. And I think there is this misnomer of you have to that they're gonna draw something for you and that you're gonna interpret it. And you're like, that's not what this is at all. And that it's more than just drawing, it's expressive arts, it's more than just that. So
Yeah,
how can this type of therapy boost creativity?
totally. If I can add a little bit
Oh,
about
of course.
to the previous question, but I will jump to the
Yeah,
how
no
we can
worries.
boost the creativity. This is true that yeah, we're using embodied experience. It's not just draw a picture and this is. It's maybe the combination of different modalities. We can start with a simple drawing and move to the movement or creating a sound, some sort of. So it's a very wide experience that people have. And very often it's really look like a play. If we ask the child to draw a picture, and even if child does not have no idea what we're asking about, they jump right away. They use their imagination, they create their own words, they make like their own shapes and colors, and they start playing with this thing and they jumping around this thing. That's the what I'm thinking about how expressive art therapy can look like from a side. Is two people just playing and having fun, but actually we're doing a lot of deep work working through internal conflicts or past traumas through that. And also, expressive arts can be used in a community setting. I wanted to mention that in the past 3 years, I've been volunteering with this nonprofit organization that is called First Aid of the Soul. It's help people in Ukraine to deal with their traumas
Oh,
because of
wow.
the war. And we're basically meeting with Ukrainian mental health professionals to help them with burnout and to help them to find resources for themselves
Wow.
so they
That's
can
amazing.
come back to their clients in Ukraine and deal with all these unimaginable traumas. And when we do communal art, even through Zoom, right? Like I'm meeting with them. I'm here in Los Angeles, they in Ukraine, and we're meeting through Zoom. We create poetry together, or we're making like collaborative art, and everyone's just quietly like drawing something, and then we show everyone's the pictures. It's become a very bonding, connecting, very healing experience that reminds us we're here, we're still seeing, we support each other, we're still alive, and we still can create something. Yeah,
Very important, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So, how does this
Yeah,
expand our sense of creativity?
totally. In the past few years, I noticed similar themes, so similar conditions that people bring in therapy. And I
Right.
think we're still recovering after pandemic, and a lot of people still feel very disconnected, isolated, very consumed with the news, with whatever is going on in the world, very consumed with life things. Everything becomes too serious, right? And the second problem that I encountered is like crippling anxiety combined with a very short attention span. We saw into our phones, our screens, scrolling through social media, and that's become like almost a chasing for dopamine, chasing for instant gratification. If I
Mhm.
wouldn't see this like cat video and have an instant smile, like my day is ruined basically. And a lot
Mhm.
of us use this scrolling thing or mindless snacking or
Yeah.
mindless shopping because shopping became very accessible and very fast.
Mm.
We feel that, oh, it helps me to relax. A lot of people will tell me, like, oh, yeah, when I come home, it was a very difficult day. I'm just sitting on my phone for hours and I'm chill. It may feel like that, but our brain is not resting at all. Our brain
Right.
is trying now to process hours of short videos that
Yes.
have no connection with each other, trying to make sense of all of
Mhm.
things. And a lot of people will not sleep very well because, yeah, our brain
Right.
is activated and very, oh, what? Now I need
Mhm.
to put every single video in its own spot. So,
Right.
from this perspective, I feel that expressive art therapists can be a good alternative that may help us to slow down, to help our brain slow down and process
Mhm.
things and become more observant, more mindful, and help us to not just react on outside world, but also check in with ourselves and say, hey, how I'm doing, what I'm experiencing, what's going on. And again, it's maybe in a very playful way. And I
Mhm.
know that for a lot of people, this transition from scrolling on the phone to drawing a picture, maybe a lot. So I came up with a few like simple ideas how we can slowly replace these patterns of scrolling. One of the things that I've noticed sometimes in myself too, and like with my friends, then at the evening we're watching something or we're eating and we're on our phone at the same time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So instead of that, I thinking that put the phone aside, have a piece of paper, and do some doodling. It's maybe a very repetitive movements with the
Mhm.
hand, just like doing like
Mhm.
circles or doodles. And I know that a lot of people already do this, like when we sit in a lecture or in a workshop or when we on the phone, a lot of people like just
Right.
doodle something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
bring this back and just when you're watching something, doodle a thing or do some knitting or some like origami, like using tactile sense, creating a little like something from the piece of paper.
Love that.
Maybe very
Mhm.
helpful. And it's
Mhm.
really easy to replace these things. If
Mhm.
we cannot get out of our phones and we're really attached, even using a coloring app, and there are a bunch of different coloring apps that like color by numbers or color yourself. I think a lot of systems already have installed like different design apps, maybe very helpful. I found another app, it's DADA, and it's collage making. It's a
Oh,
digital collage making, and it's
cool.
really fun. They have a huge library of different like picture
Oh, that's
shapes,
great.
letters, words, and that's really fun to create your own greeting card. Like now I'm
Oh,
not buying
yeah.
greeting cards and just creating my own to all my friends, having a little collage. You can use your own pictures.
That's
It can
cool.
be very creative, very fun. Another thing that I'd like to bring, because we have like everyone knows about artificial intelligence and some people scared about that, some people really excited about that. I'm more in the middle. I don't
Yeah.
think AI is going to replace every single human activity. I don't believe in that. I definitely don't believe that AI can replace therapy per se, but it can be a very good resource and like a help for us. So what me and my husband been doing, we kind of asking AI to write down new recipes using mismatching ingredients.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really fun. I think we tried two recipes, didn't work very well. It was edible. We didn't want to waste food for sure, but it wasn't the best one. However, it was very creative and very fun and really good, like bonding activity for the family. So, doing something like that may be really good to boost like the
Yeah.
creativity and
Oh, I love that.
imagination. One of my friends, she has a toddler, and as any small child, this child creates different like makeup words and talks a lot on different topics. So she creates songs from these conversations
Oh, that's
with
great.
AI. And then they gather the whole family, they listen the song, they create the dance
Oh,
together, they
that's
do a
really
lot
neat.
of. So as you can see, it can be everywhere. We can find these
Mhm.
little things. We can use technology to really engage with creativity, imagination, and we can use technology to create an art forms and modify it. Also, I like that art therapy can be very self-regulatory practice. If we have time and if we really want to have a kind of self-care day, having a sketchbook, going outside, and just journaling or sketching something. Going to the
Mhm.
museum. It's very hot, has been in LA, like in all America, I'm sure. And a lot of Los Angeles museums, they advertise themselves like we have AC coming in. So going to the museum to cool down,
Mhm.
having a
Mhm.
sketchbook and just figure it out, like looking around, find some like art, picture, sculpture that you like the most and have an internal dialogue with that and have it
I
like
love that.
journaling. Why
Mhm.
do you like this? What it reminds you? What experiences you have when you're looking at this? One of my other friends' daughter, a teenage daughter, she discovered at some point, she was like 13 or 14, discovered Van Gogh and she really loved it. And we went to the museum together and she started crying. She was so excited to
Oh,
see
wow.
real Van Gogh in real life.
Oh,
She really felt it, and it was a beautiful moment for her connecting with this art form. Yeah.
yeah.
Then another thing, very quickly, I wanted to mention back to community building. There we can boost the creativity together. Everyone knows about Pictionary. It's a great art form, a playful way to spend time with friends. I recently learned about the new game. It's sound based. It's
Oh,
very similar to Pictionary. It's also like several teams, and but instead of drawing the object or the meaning or the phrase, people create a sound and movement.
oh, that's cool. Wow, I hadn't heard about this game. Wow.
It's really fun. It's very challenging because you can create a sound of an animal, not a problem, but there are something like the sound of opening door, the sound of pouring the tea, and you cannot say a word.
Right. Oh my God. Wow.
That's maybe a really fun game for the
Yeah.
group of people. But also, when we're building a community and a peace building, or we're reconnecting with our community in which we live, if people want to express their views or beliefs, people want to support, like the minority groups or the groups that undeserved or oppressed in any way, and let them know that you're seen with you, creating a poster, creating like again a drum circle together, creating a potluck and making this cultural like different recipes, and everyone from the culture brings it in the potluck. That's also maybe seen as a very creative and artistic process. Yeah.
Definitely. I understand that you have an exercise to share with us.
Yeah, if you open to, I would
Yes,
like to
1000%, of
invite,
course.
yeah, invite us, you and our listeners, to do this little thing that to show how simple it can be. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, please.
So we are not going to use art materials per se, just for the sake of time. So we use pure imagination today, but everyone who wants to join and wants to try it as an art form, you're more than welcome to have a piece of paper and a pen. You don't need much. You don't need much of materials. So first, I would like us to just arrive to the moment and take a short pause after me talking a lot and just take a moment to settle in. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes, you don't need to, and just feel your body, like how it sits in a chair, if your feet on the ground, how the feet feels in the ground. We can take just a few natural unforced breaths. So breathe in and breathe out. And I would like to invite you, if the eyes are closed, you can open them. And I would like to invite you to look around your space and just like notice things, notice something small, ordinary, but maybe something special. Think about what around you, maybe even outside your room and like beyond the window, what can be your everyday miracle? It can be a sunlight through the window. It's maybe a cup of tea. I have my miracle cup of coffee. If you have an animal, it's maybe your dog snoring nearby, a warm blanket, like anything that you can appreciate right now. It even can be like if it's hard to find something around you, we can think about an activity we like to do. My favorite is to do laundry. Like I love to do laundry, especially like folding the warm clothes with the smell and warmth. It's very nice. It's maybe brushing your child hair. It's maybe like watering your plant. Just take a few minutes thinking about this thing. And without using pen or paper here, I would like to invite us to imagine that we are painting this thing in our mind. What colors and shape or texture it has. If it has a sound, let yourself to hear it. If it has a scent, try to breathe in it. Just paint a few moments, really be with this thing. And if it feels natural for you, maybe let your body to make a tiny gesture representing this thing, like a gesture that inspired by this miracle. It's maybe a little wave because you're thinking about like a tree and a wind. It's maybe a little stretch going towards the sun. It can be like a little like arc pouring tea. So, or an actual like brushing or petting your cat or dog or brushing your hair, child's hair. And just hold this image, hold this movement. And again, if it feels natural, maybe think about the words or about the phrases, why this specific thing is a miracle for you right now. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's maybe one word. It's maybe just, oh, I like it. Nothing special, just a very nice thing. I do. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. And I just want to remind everyone that we can hold this image, we can hold this movement, we can hold these words for the whole day. And whenever we need this little boost of positivity, a little thing that reminds us that not everything is bad, we can bring back this little miracle, everyday miracle to our mind and repeat the gesture. So,
I
yeah,
love that everyday miracle. I am definitely going to hold my image in my mind. I was
yeah,
definitely interacting with it. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that's an amazing exercise.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah.
Are there,
I yeah, yeah.
I was going to say,
Um,
any other insights you'd like to share?
yeah, I love this exercise. I wanted to share a very short story.
Yes, please.
I use this exercise again in my volunteer work with Ukrainian therapists, and this woman, she brought in mind, she shared the picture of your fan and your light ceiling, like ceiling light. And she said that light is a miracle for me today. And
Oh,
she mentioned that they had a lot of like electricity outages and how like before it was like no one cares about the light and electricity, like it's all exist for decades already. But losing it like really made her feel about like how important this is to have light. And again, through going through these heat waves in California, we have power outages, and I
yeah.
truly can resonate with that, like how important to have light. And then she shared this, the whole group resonate with that. And people just started to share their story and started to share their appreciation of the internet and for us to be connected. And it was a very beautiful moment of this, oh, we know what you're talking about. It's great. And we can relate to this. And let's all together like really be thankful for this moment.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's quite lovely. Oh my gosh. Anastasia, thank you so much for everything you
Yeah.
shared. I'm
So,
feeling very calm right now. I'm ready to do some creative arts right now.
oh, I'm
For
so
sure.
glad. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to make some watercoloring today. I have a
Oh,
little bit of time for that today. Yeah.
love that. So thank you
Mhm.
again.
Of course. Thank you for inviting. It was a pleasure to share my story. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank the team behind the podcast, Jason Clayton and Juliana Winnan. Thank you for listening to Converse from the Couch. Take care, everyone.